Hey guys, welcome back to Flannels and Foxes, and today I'm going to be doing my Christmas book haul. So sorry I haven't posted in a while. Basically, as expected, the end of the semester hit and then the holidays hit. And then I just haven't had a chance to film any videos, but I also haven't had a chance to read much, so that's another part of it. But another part of it is I've kind of been battling with this stigma, I guess you could call it, where since I'm so new to the booktube community, obviously I care a lot what people think about content and quality of even just my words. And I think I've been overthinking it, and so it's made me nervous to film and to post, and I think I'm just feeling too much pressure for no reason, and it's going to be one of those things where it makes me not post anything if I don't just get past that. Like, a lot of the reason I hadn't been filming because I was so busy was because when I'm so busy, I don't have time to dress up or put makeup on or things like that, and so I decided that I needed to be wearing makeup to film videos, or I needed to be dressed nicer to film videos, and then I've just been delving deeper and deeper into the booktube community, and most of my favorite booktubers don't really do that, and they just kind of talk, and it's so much more honest and real and more of a stream of consciousness, and I like that a lot more than the more polished, kind of scripted videos. So I want to just kind of get over my kind of shallow issues I've been having lately and just film, because I have to remember that this is in large for myself and to look back on these books and these experiences and really remember how I felt at the time in a way that I can't express just in writing in a journal or anything like that. So that being said, I plan to start posting more and filming more and just kind of get over myself. So, getting into the Christmas book haul now. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do one of these because while I absolutely love books, I also absolutely love photography, and I didn't know the ratio of photography versus book gifts I was going to get this year, but I actually did get a lot of books, and I'm really excited because that means I get to do my first Christmas book haul for you guys. So, I will start here. So I got, we'll do this in order. I got Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. So these are the second and the third book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and I read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, that's the only one I've read so far, and I loved it, and so I wanted these two to complete the series, and I'm really, really excited, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't talk too much because since these are the second and third in a series, it could spoil things to talk about them at all. So I'll just leave it at that. Definitely check out Daughter of Smoke and Bone if you're interested, if you haven't read it already. It's really good. It just kind of deals with angels and demons in a very fantastical way, and it was really fun to read, and really, the characters are really cool. Yeah. Okay. So next up, I received and have already read Nimona. I read a lot of graphic novels this year, and this was one of my favorites, as to be expected. It might not have been my absolute favorite, just because books that end up being my favorites tend to have a more emotional impact on me, and this didn't really have that necessarily, but it was a really good graphic novel, and it was so much fun, and I really want to read it again. And definitely pick it up if you haven't already. And it's based off of a webcomic, if you didn't already know that, so you can also check that out. Yeah, I would definitely give this a read, and definitely check out Noelle Stevenson's. After reading this, I do want to check out more of her work very soon. Alright, next up is Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I've been wanting this book since it came out, so I'm really, really, bless you, that's my dog. I'm really, really excited to read this. It is, from what I gather, two magicians who are raised, it's kind of a circus setting, and they are kind of dueling each other with their magic. Let me know if I'm completely wrong. And then I think they end up falling in love, but I've heard that it's really, really good. Everyone seems to love it. I'm very, very excited about it. Yeah, I've been wanting this for a very long time, and I waited very patiently, so I'm very excited to get into this one. Next up, one of my best friends sent me Picture Me Gone by Meg Rossoff. So this one, I believe, the protagonist and her father moved from London to New York, and they are trying to find a missing friend. And the protagonist seems to pay attention or gather some information that everyone else isn't quite seeing. But because of that, she gets a lot of information and learns a lot more about the people she trusts, and maybe things she doesn't want to know. I'm not quite sure. But I'm really excited, and thank you to my best friend for sending me this. What we do is there are 3 of us, and we each have an Amazon book wish list, and we rotate and then go backwards, and we each send each other 1 book a month and try to read that book within that month. And it's very fun, and it's a really cool idea if you want to do that with any of your friends. Just for fun, you know, they don't have to be on BookTube. My friends aren't on BookTube. It's just something we do to kind of talk and stay connected, and it's very, very fun. Next is Night Film by Marisha Pessl. Pessl? I don't know. But yes, you guys, I'm sure already have seen this book a lot. It is apparently about an actress, I believe, her death, and the man who is investigating it, but it also involves his father, and his father is a horror film director or creator or producer of some sort. And he learns more about this actress and goes deeper and deeper into her world, and I guess it's kind of dark, and I guess last time he tried to do this, he lost his family, and he lost a lot of things he cared about, and he anticipates to lose even more going back into this world again. And I'm very excited about this. Apparently, there are also like different, just like photos and articles and things to really make it come to life. I always love books like that. And websites. And apparently this cover isn't a thing anymore. So my fiance got it for me, and this is the only one he could find, so it's kind of beat up and like the spine is kind of unaligned, but I'm really, really excited that I still got to have this cover, and the content is still there, so I'm very, very excited to read this book. Next up is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. So I'm sure you've already heard of this. This is the Simon Snow story, and it's about Simon and Bads, which if you've ever read Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, she writes fan fiction about Simon Snow stories, which are essentially kind of a spin-off of the Harry Potter stories, but then this is like the actual Simon and Snow story, and it's just nothing but that. So I'm really excited about that. I don't think that you need to read Fangirl, as far as I understand, to read this. But if you do, or maybe you could read this and then read Fangirl and kind of see her fan fiction from this. I've already read Fangirl, so I'm very, very excited to read this. And yes, this has been talked about by so many people, and I think reread by a ton of people over and over again. So I'm really excited to get into it. Next is Why We Broke Up, and the art is by Mara Kalman, and the writing is by Daniel Handler. And so I'm a little bit late to this party, and I've been wanting to pick up this book for quite a while, but it's essentially why 2 people broke up, and I'm interested in it because it has a lot of illustrations, and I think they are mainly just illustrations of the items involving their breakup and things like that, and I've heard that it's very cute. I always kind of resisted it because I thought it was going to be kind of silly, even though it has a Prince prize. But a lady at the bookstore was looking at it, and she saw me looking at it, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love that book, yada yada yada. So I decided to go ahead and ask for it, and I got it for Christmas, and I'm excited to finally start it. Next up, I actually got this one for my birthday, but my birthday is also in December, so I just kind of included those books into my Christmas book haul. So I got Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Groden. So this book is essentially Hitler won, basically, and there is this big motorcycle race, and whoever wins gets to meet Hitler in person. And the protagonist is trying to win this race because she would like to see Hitler in person, and she would like to kill him. So, motorcycle race to kill Hitler, who won in this alternate history. Yeah, it sounds pretty sweet. I am excited to get into it. All right, so next up is Pagan Christianity by Frank Viola and George Barna. So this is a nonfiction book, and it is essentially about a lot of the Christian traditions, and then how we are, and then the traditions we have come up with in our modern day church, and how those tend to differ a lot from actual scripture. So it's essentially going into scripture and finding where our current traditions and our current way of doing things within the church match up with scripture, and a lot of it explains how it doesn't match up with scripture. And so I just thought that would be very interesting to kind of see what we do and within our Christian churches that no longer matches up with the scripture and has just kind of veered off, and we've just kind of been creating our own traditions, our own way of doing things. I'll let you guys know how it goes when I actually get a little bit further. Okay, so next up is Color Me Creative by Kristen Webb. So Kristen Webb is a very young illustrator, and she basically has become very famous on Instagram. And this is essentially her story, and then it has 50 creative prompts essentially. And I wanted this for the creative prompts, even though I cannot draw from my imagination at all. I can draw pretty good from life, but not from my imagination. But I thought it would be fun because it's just fun challenges, you create the top of a cupcake, or what's something that makes sense, or you draw hair on people, things like that, just kind of when you want to doodle. But also, now I'm kind of interested in her actual story now that it's in here, because it's very beautiful, and it's full of just pictures and all the things like that, and her actual illustrations are really, really pretty. And I love staring at them, and here are more of them, so, why not? Alright, next up is creative portrait photography. As I mentioned earlier, I am a photographer, and this is just some interesting portrait photography and how they do it. I can't show you too much of this because there are a lot of naked girls in here, but there's some really cool photographs and really cool explanations of how they do that, and I'm very excited to learn more about creative portrait photography. Next up is, now this book isn't actually mine, I'm just borrowing it from my dad, but I borrowed it from him for Christmas, so I'm counting this in my book haul. It is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. So I've been wanting to read this book for a while. It's a classic essentially, and Jack Kerouac's On the Road burst open the world stage in 1957. More than a mere literary phenomenon, this modern, picturesque novel, with its vivid language and quintessentially American vision of freedom and hope, defined the world that became known as the Beat Generation. So basically, he just, from what I understand, travels the country, and it's just kind of his writing about traveling the country, and it's kind of during the Beatnik generation, apparently, and I'm pretty excited, and the one that my dad had has these beveled edges, so I'm pretty excited about that too. Yeah, so I am stoked to get into this. And last but definitely not least is the book I bought for myself, and that is Girl at War by Sarah Novick. This is, I am a little bit more than halfway through this book, and I'm so invested in it, it's kind of ridiculous, and I feel like I'm going to be on an incredibly long book hangover when I finish this book. This is about the Yugoslavian Civil War, essentially between the Serbians and the Croatians. And the protagonist is a Croatian, and it goes back and forth between time periods of when she was 10 years old in 1991, when the Civil War was going on, and to 2001, when she is a college student in New York and a refugee in America. It is so good so far, and part of the reason I think that I'm so invested in it, is because of current events, and it's kind of the same type of idea in a way, as a lot of the things going on right now, and so it's very, very interesting to see this perspective the girl who is in the middle of the war as a child and has to be sent here, and just how it is being here and trying to transition into this kind of society versus the society she came from, and what it's like to be away from the type of culture and the type of place you call home, like your entire life that you love so much. And yeah, it's a very emotional book, and it's very good though. I would say if you liked The Book Thief, you will love this book. The Book Thief is one of my favorite books of all time, and this reminds me a lot of The Book Thief. So definitely pick this one up. If you liked The Book Thief, regardless of if you're interested in the Yugoslavian Civil War at all or not, it doesn't matter. You will like it. You will love the characters. So definitely pick this up when you get a chance. That is my Christmas book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am excited to start filming more in 2015. I'll probably wait to talk about that and post a 2016 reading goals video in 2016. Anyway, I hope you guys had thank you, Hazel. I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas, and I am very excited to go through and finish watching all of your Christmas book hauls and your 2016 goals. Yeah, so Happy New Year, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.